There is an official proceeding to certify the vote. That proceeding was interrupted for 6 hours because of violence. That's part of the transfer of power. It was interrupted. Definitionally, it was not a peaceful transfer of power.
Mostly peaceful.
Transgender is not real.
Were you ever in the Capitol on January 6th? Did you assault any police officers?
Yeah, I did. I spent 3 years in prison. It absolutely does make me angry, and I spent a lot of time in a jail cell thinking about it.
And I feel that Kamala is, and this is not a meme, I mean this, a communist.
Beard Dubs. Do you have any thoughts on, and specifically, if you could tailor, if possible, your thoughts to some of these issues, the X-Files, justice, corruption, the investigations, that kind of thing? Destiny and I are very concerned, I think, about preserving justice, preserving honest and fair prosecutions. And so if you could tailor your comments to some of these issues, or maybe the interaction between government forces and social media networks, that could be helpful.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's honestly pretty hypocritical, right? And I am conservative. Okay, so it's honestly pretty hypocritical if what's being alleged is exactly what's been happening. To not say that it is hypocritical is just foolish. You're denying it. So if what's been alleged has occurred, then absolutely, I think that it's not a good thing, right? But
you're speaking specifically, just to have clarity on it, you're talking about the quote unquote double standard with respect to conservatives being upset about the Hunter Biden laptop censoring on certain platforms,
right?
And then this, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, because you can't be upset about Hunter Biden's laptop story not being able to be on any social media accounts for a couple of months, and then say, well, it's fine for us to do it now. That's something that I've honestly just never been with. So if this is if that's true, yeah, it's definitely not bad.
Wait, hold on. Just wait. Just real quick, because this is a timeline thing that gets messed up quite a bit. How long do you think that laptop story on Twitter was censored for?
About a month. It was like the quote unquote October surprise. So some point in October, so maybe not even a full month prior to the election, but it was suppressed before all votes were cast.
Okay. I think it was suppressed for like 1 or 2 days.
But it was in October, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think it was like 1 or 2 days, and then Twitter put like a warning link when you'd click off to it. It was literally like 1 or 2 days.
Okay, well, I mean that's fair, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not okay with it if this is what's happening. Right?
It's more than that, right? It's that JD Vance says that this is a basis to not certify the 2020 election, because he's unwilling to say that the election was stolen in the traditional way that's sort of accused, which is fake ballots, illegal immigrants voting, that kind of thing. And this is kind of his story for why the election was stolen, is the censoring of the Hunter Biden laptop story. But if that's your position, that the election was stolen the minute that they censored the story, even though I think there could be good arguments that the Streisand effect, it increased the story, how can you not say similarly that Elon Musk and Trump are trying to steal the 2024 election by censoring the Vance files, where we now have a New York Times article which sources people close to Elon Musk and saying that there was 100% a collusion between Donald Trump and Elon Musk in taking down this story. So how is this not the exact same thing that JD Vance is saying was theft in 2020? And then how, using that logic, how doesn't that preclude you from voting for Trump and Vance if they're engaged in a theft of the 2024 election?
Okay, so I had not heard that part for Vance. Was that in that the one from this week?
Yeah, so he's like being asked, did Trump lose the election? He's like, well, they censored the story, and according to some bogus allegations, this would have swung the election, and basically, therefore, it's theft. That was his argument.
Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I remember the what his response from the debate, but no, I hadn't caught that from this week. I mean, no. In my opinion, that's not what would have swung the election one way or the other. All right. Like the story being suppressed, be it for 2 days or a couple of weeks, either way, that's not what swung the election. So I wouldn't agree with that statement. But I mean, just listen to what you were saying with the other speaker, where you're talking about just Harrison Waltz having more moderate positions. I mean, at that point, it's just I don't trust the moderate positions. Does that make sense? And I don't. At the end of the day, everything did go over peacefully through the 2020 transfer of power, right? So.
Well, hold on.
I
Wait,
mean,
that's not true. Wait.
I don't
Wait.
personally think
That's
that
not true,
Trump would
right?
end up
There was
being the
a
dictator.
there was a huge riot on the.
January 6th thing, yeah, but I'm saying after, like, I mean, including it even occurred on that day. The election was certified.
Well, no.
So-
Hold on. Wait. You can't. It's not. If there was violence and then the violence failed and then afterwards there was a transfer, that's not peaceful, right? There was violence.
There were definitely poor actors, and Destiny, I have heard your arguments on this, and I mean, I've read through the Jack Smith paperwork, and I mean, it's a tough read, and I've spoke with my lawyer friends about it, but really, at the end of the day, it would have been better had that gone to court, because then we would have a definitive answer instead of us just
Well,
having.
wait.
I mean, Trump is-
We don't need a definitive answer. It was not a peaceful transfer of power, right?
Mostly peaceful. If we
No.
want to throw that
That's
one out.
it was not a peaceful transfer of power, right? On the certification of the vote, that had to be delayed because people had invaded the Capitol building. That was part of the transfer of power. So it was not a peaceful transfer of power, right?
I'll give you that it was. It should have been better.
It was not a peaceful transfer of power, though, right?
Fair.
Okay.
But at the end of it, we did get there, and I do not. This is just personally, and I mean, I'm not going to say I've read everything that you've read, Destiny, right? But personally, I do not see the threat of him being Trump becoming a dictator.
Okay, hold on. Wait. World War II ended peacefully. Do you agree with that?
That World War II ended peacefully.
Yes.
I mean, after the bombs were dropped, sure.
Is that truly a statement that you would make, that the ending of World War II was peaceful?
After the bombs were dropped, they were very cordial when they signed
Come
the paper.
on.
Okay, would you say that the BLM riots then were generally peaceful, mostly peaceful?
I mean, that's what the narrative is. Isn't
I didn't
it?
ask what the narrative was. I'm asking you. Would you say that the BLM riots were mostly peaceful?
Mostly would be an accurate term for that, yes, because the majority of people that were going into the BLM protests were not acting violently or destructively. So mostly would be an accurate descriptor. Yeah.
Okay. So then just recentering on the J6 thing. So it wasn't a peaceful transfer of power. There was an attempt to violent. It wasn't. What do you mean mostly? Does there have to be violence every day?
Well, no, but I mean, like, okay, one person was killed that day, Ashley Babbitt.
Wait. It
and
has
then-
nothing to do. It doesn't have to do with anybody getting killed. There is a
Well,
process.
but
There is an
that's what I'm
official
saying, right?
proceeding to certify the vote. That proceeding was
Yeah.
interrupted for 6 hours because of violence. That's part of the transfer of power. It was interrupted. There wasn't a peaceful transfer of power. It was interrupted by violence. So definitionally, it was not a peaceful transfer of power. The National Guard had to be deployed to move people out of the Capitol to bring the lawmakers back in to certify the results, right?
Mostly peaceful.
Okay. I mean, if
Wait,
this is
no,
what we're doing-
hold on. Why did they leave the Capitol?
They being
The lawmakers that were
people that
certifying the
went
vote,
in.
why did they leave the bill? Why did they suspend the certification of the vote?
because people had come into Congress.
Okay. Is the certification of the vote part of the transfer of power?
Ceremoniously, yeah.
So you don't think it matters if they
No.
actually certify the electoral votes in Congress? You don't think it does anything? You don't think it means anything?
I mean, yes, it does, but I mean it's a ceremony, right? So I mean,
it's an act that has legal consequence. In order for them to assume the office, they need to be declared the winners by Congress. That's
Yeah.
in the Constitution. It's not just some ceremonial pro forma.
So
thing.
it's not ceremonial, it's procedural, Right? It's essential.
Okay, sorry.
Right? No, that's okay.
You're right. You're right. No, I misspoke. It's procedural. You're right.
So if that's the procedure by which power is transferred, and that procedure was interrupted by violence, then how can we say it was a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, I'm going to go back to mostly, and the entire thing is it occurred. It did happen.
Yes,
right?
the ending of World War II happened. But that doesn't mean World War II was peaceful. And it doesn't mean the ending was peaceful. It ended off the back of 2 atomic bombs being dropped. So for the peaceful transfer of power in the United States to have happened, there needs to be no disruption of that transfer with violence, which there was.
Okay, I'll concede that. Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and so I guess last before we move on to some other area, I guess. But you are going to vote for Trump, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Do you think that he lost the 2020 election?
Yes, I do.
And you believe he knows that, right?
Yes, I do. I think he just says things to his base or to, while in the middle of a campaign, just as any politician does.
So how can you vote for someone who...
Wait, hold on. Wait, just a real quick, and then Pisco can do this on... Hold on. What other politician in Congress or in the executive in the past 20 years has said that there was mass voter fraud that flipped the election?
I don't know if anyone said that exact quote.
That's even alluded to that. A politician, not not somebody on CNN said this, not somebody on Twitter said this, not Hillary saying he's an illegitimate president. Somebody saying there was mass voter fraud, like the vote machine switched votes, people stuffed ballots and did massive dumps. What other lawmaker or president has said that in the past 20 years?
I mean, we have the whole hanging Chad thing, but I guess that was just a little bit over 20 years ago, so fair point.
Hold on, wait. Do you think the hanging Chad thing, do you think that is in any way equivalent to the Donald Trump claim?
I'm pointing out instances where the election has been called into question. That
was Al Gore begging for a recount, which he never got, by the way. That was Al Gore begging for them to complete a recount that he never got. Trump got that on like day one in so many different states. He got like 3 recounts in many different states. And so what you're comparing to is the denial of a recount, which, by the way, Al Gore accepted that.
Yes, not only did he accept it, I believe that was ended on, I think it was December 14th on the when the electors voted. He didn't fight all the way to J6, and I believe he even said that it would have been ridiculous to fight the assertion on.
And he gavelled in George Bush.
Kerry, yep.
Himself, because he was the vice president at the time.
Correct.
So Al Gore was the VP at the time. I can't believe it when conservative MAGA people compare Al Gore's just requesting of a recount through litigation and compare that to what happened on Jan 6. It's so bad faith. But even
actually,
put that aside, right?
wait, real quick. Do you acknowledge that Kerry did what Trump says he did? And Trump did not do. Kerry wanted to. Al Gore wanted to challenge the election. He did. He lost. It was. I think most people would say it was a bullshit loss, but he lost in the courts. And after he lost in the courts, there was a peaceful transfer of power. That's what happened. That's not what Donald Trump did, though, right? When Donald Trump lost in the courts, he continued filing other cases. Violence happened on the 6th. There were other schemes that he enacted to try, right? That these two things are not comparable. Do you agree with that? That Kerry and Trump's, that Gore and Trump here were not comparable at all in terms of how they approached challenging the election results.
Well, I mean, if you want to ask separate questions, sure. But the original question you asked, and I told you, I didn't think that there was anyone that made that direct quote. But when we're talking about questioning election results, that has happened.
Hold on. No, wait. My question was not about, wait. My question was not about, wait. My question was, no, wait.
Gore and Trump handled things were not the same.
My question was not about election results, and I could be wrong. Somebody's welcome to clarify. Gore, I believe, was asking for a recount. I don't think Gore was alleging mass voter fraud all over the country.
He was alleging a recount. And guess what?
And I didn't say that he was alleging mass voter fraud. I even said I don't think you would get this exact quote.
No. It's not about an exact quote. It's about the character of what I said. I'm not looking for a quote. I'm saying that Gore wasn't accusing a top-down malfeasance of happening.
Why would you ask for a recount, though, if you believed what the election results were.
Because the margin was incredibly close, and you're allowed to. You have the right to request recounts in states, even if you don't believe there's malfeasance. You can request recounts. A lot of states have it built in provisionally that if the vote is within a certain percentage, they'll automatically do a recount.
Yeah.
Because there can be other things that affect the margin of victory besides outright fraud, which was Trump alleging. And by the way, Al Gore thought he won the election, and that's the difference. You said your own words, not less than 4 minutes ago. You said Trump lost, and Trump knew he lost. That's what you just said. How could you vote for someone who knowingly lost and tried to stay in power? How can you be a conservative and vote for that?
Because progressivism is awful.
And so you're willing to burn the Constitution because you're scared of progressivism.
No, because I don't think that there's any actual possibility of Trump becoming a dictator. I definitely don't think there's any possibility of Vance becoming a dictator. So
Vance said he wouldn't have certified. Do you agree with Pence or Vance?
I'm sorry.
Pence did the right thing, right? I mean, Pence did the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Pence did the correct thing. Yes.
So it's like we have a person who, by your own logic, right? Like, imagine that this were Hillary Clinton in 2016, and you just had Obama and Clinton colluding to try to give the election to Hillary after Trump won it legitimately. Wouldn't that? And they failed at it. Wouldn't you be like every day screaming about that for the rest of time?
No.
Okay. Any last thoughts before we move on to Melvin?
Nope. Thanks again for having me. I appreciate the discussion.
Yeah, I just want to know why you guys are saying that the laptop story was only censored for 2 days when it came out on October 14th, and you weren't able to share it like up through the election.
How does the fact that it
2
came
days
out
coming from?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
No, yeah, I just wonder where this 2 days it was censored for came from.
Yeah, so the chronology is, I don't know how what you're saying is debunking the 2 day thing. Just that it happened on a particular day doesn't debunk that the length of time under which it was shadow banned or outright banned. My understanding, and I can pull up the exact time if you'd like, are you refuting that it was anything significantly greater than a couple of days that it was disallowed to be shared on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Twitter and Facebook, unless Twitter was only specifically 2 days. But
I'm not under any impression that the story was banned on Facebook. I think it was it was deprioritized on Facebook.
Well, if you were to try to send it to somebody in private messages, the link would not send.
Yeah. So are you suggesting that for Twitter, let's start with Twitter, that it was anything significantly longer than 2 days?
Sure.
You are suggesting that, and that's based on your memory?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just curious as to where, because I know they didn't allow the story to be shared, and the story came out on October 14th.
Yeah, so why don't we if we get the timetable for you directly, and I'm pulling it up now, and it's a couple days, what will you say in response to that?
I'll have to see it. I don't know. I'll just be surprised.
Okay, well, I'm going to get that for you. I don't know, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. It's really hard to find executives on this, but I'll try to find it. Maybe it might have been in the Twitter files.
Twitter's ban. Okay, this is from New York Post. Twitter's ban on sharing links remained in effect until around 10 p.m. October 15th, 2020. The story was, so that's 10 p.m. October 15th. The story occurred on October 14th, 2020. So you agree, therefore, by New York Post's own, and here's the link. I'll put the link. I don't know where I'll put it. I'll put it on my Twitter in response to this, I guess, or I can @ you later, or I'll just DM it to you. You agree that if I'm representing the quote correctly from New York Post, that it absolutely was within 1 or 2 days?
I guess so. Maybe I'm just thinking of Facebook, but I know that you definitely weren't allowed to share the story. So you're saying it said that it was only banned for 2 days?
Yeah. The New York Post says, and I'm quoting, that it was October 15. Sorry, I just lost it again.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm reading. This is in front of Congress, I believe. For example, on October 14th, 2020, the New York Post tweeted, okay, so let me read slowly so we have the dates exactly, okay? On October 14th, 2020, the New York Post tweeted articles about Hunter Biden's laptop with embedded images that looked like they may have been obtained through hacking. In 2018, we developed a policy intended to prevent Twitter from becoming a dumping ground for hacked materials. We applied this policy to the New York Post tweet and blocked links to articles embedding those source materials. At no point did Twitter otherwise prevent tweeting, reporting, discussing, or describing the contents of Mr. Biden's laptop. People could and did talk about the contents of the laptop on Twitter or anywhere else, including other much larger platforms, but they were prevented from sharing the primary documents on Twitter. Still, over the course of that day, it became clear that Twitter had not fully appreciated the impact of that policy on free press and others. As Mr. Dorsey testified before Congress on multiple occasions, Twitter changed its policy within 24 hours and admitted its initial action was wrong. This policy revision immediately allowed people to tweet the original articles with the embedded source materials. So I'm sorry, I was incorrect when I said 1 to 2 days. It was changed within 24 hours, so earlier than I had said.
Okay. Yeah, then maybe it was just Facebook that was not allowing it for a longer period of time.
Okay, but the big deal was about Twitter. You acknowledge that the JD Vance stuff is still suppressed, isn't it?
Yeah, but the JD Vance stuff is all public information. It's not.
Oh, hold on,
there.
wait. What? First of all, no. But secondly, so what? Why would that make it okay to suppress it?
Well, I think they only said they suppressed it because of the doxing stuff.
Who can't?
But I
Wait.
don't think you can compare
A
public or a public thing to the laptop.
But it's not all
There was
public.
docs
What do you
material
mean?
on the laptop. There was docs material on the laptop. But
Yeah.
Correct, but there was nothing implying that JD Vance was doing extreme, unethical things.
Hold on. There was nothing on the laptop implying that Joe Biden, the guy actually running for president, was doing extreme unethical things.
Sure, there was emails saying that he was aware of the Hunter's business stuff whenever he was on the debate stage.
No.
I just had a debate with the person who published the Hunter Biden laptop story. He got crushed by me. Can you name a single email that shows that he had some conscious awareness of? And actually, what is the corrupt dealing that you're saying he was aware of?
Just about Biden said originally that he had nothing to do, knew nothing about Hunter's business stuff.
So, what email are you referencing, or what do you have memory of that that shows that Joe Biden had knowledge or awareness of any of Hunter Biden's specific deals?
Offhand, I can't tell you, but it was something about
problem.
Like somebody thanking Hunter for introducing him to his dad. Some other stuff about Hunter's making
Is that knowledge of
innuendos
the
about
business
him.
deal? So saying, hey, thanks for letting me shake the hand of your dad. Is that showing that he is conscious of the underlying business deals between Hunter and his business partners?
And also,
Vance?
keep in mind, the crime wouldn't even be aware of the business dealings. The crime would be aware of and inappropriately influenced or leveraged the power of office for those deals. That would be like the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now, as you sit here, do you have any evidence of impropriety by Joe Biden that was contained in the Hunter Biden laptop?
No, how
That you're
about
aware of?
this? I'll go try to find what I was talking
No, but
about.
I'm just saying,
no,
as we sit
offhand,
here,
I-
as we sit here, and as we discuss, is it a correct statement to say at this time you are not alleging any impropriety or criminality to Joe Biden based on what was revealed in the New York Post story and the Hunter Biden laptop more generally?
no.
Right.
Well, and even fuck that.
No,
Even
I'm
if
saying no,
even,
I'm not saying
Okay, wait, hold on. Even if you believe or don't believe that, I don't understand why you would think it's okay for Twitter to be censoring the JD Vance story.
I don't even know what the JD Vance story is, to be honest.
Well, do you? Hold on. That means it worked.
No, I mean, like, I know about the story, but I have no idea about the contents of it.
Yeah, because we can't even discuss it on places like Twitter where you exist.
You can discuss it.
Yeah, but nobody can link to it. You could discuss the Hunter Biden stuff.
Yeah, you could discuss the Hunter Biden stuff.
I'm pretty sure Brian Krasenstein posted the entire.
You're pivoting.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Redacted
I don't understand how it's not blowing up in your mind that it's okay for him to, and it's still censored, by the way. I don't believe you can link to any of the JD Vance original material. You cannot do that, and that's okay in your mind. But the Hunter Biden laptop stuff was just way over the line.
Can you flip the floor?
What?
Can you flip the floor? Okay. All right. No, sorry. Gotta run.
Bye. All right, we got that was a good talk, Melvin. I really, really appreciate that. We have some other people in waiting, so let's add this guy. Name of he left.
I was curious with the Vance document stuff. That was due to primarily private information, correct?
I don't believe that's true. I think that's a pretext, and I have an argument for that. But if you want to complete what you want to say, that's fine too.
I had heard Destiny talk about how Hunter Biden, the story with the previous person, something that kind of like came to my mind was like the Vance document not being known isn't necessarily like a proof that it was censored adequately. That makes sense.
Are you making
Hold
that
on,
claim
I don't
just
care.
because-
I'm half joking when I say that, but I also don't give a fuck because conservatives will say that the Hunter Biden laptop story being censored was the number one reason why Trump lost the election, despite the fact that those that know, like Bannon, are quoted verbatim saying the censorship of that laptop was the best thing, the best thing that could have possibly happened to us. So no, the idea that the idea that that's true is ridiculous.
And when he says that's true, he means the notion that the amount of people watching it or listening to it, that is indication of the fact that the censorship either isn't a big deal or is a big deal, or that's the, what we're saying is essentially it's the same acts. The same acts are covered by both.
So to quote Bannon, he literally says, okay, here's what the Bidens fucked up. From the day the Post story came out and then you started pumping out, we got you this stuff and you started dumping it out and then the internet started picking it up and then they suppressed it. Remember, the best thing that happened to us was Twitter and Facebook suppressing it because then everybody wants to see it. It's called the Streisand effect after Barbara Streisand, right? The more you try to suppress something, the more they want to see it. So they took the sucker's bait, right? That's why when people tell me loot stuff is getting crazy, I go, not crazy enough, because really what they were trying to suppress, it's not so much the New York Post story. They were trying to suppress the New York Post story leading to people wanting to link you to the material. Like, so everybody that knows that was the best thing that could have ever happened. Okay. Everybody knows that.
I'm going to save you a monologue so that you can get to other people. I actually, like on all of this, I think that both of these stories are basically irrelevant to the broader election. And quite honestly, I tend to agree with everything that you're saying.
But then why does JD Vance say that's a basis to overturn
the election?
Can you defend that?
No, I'm not. I can't defend that. My reasonings for voting for them are a completely separate issue, and I don't want to waste your time.
Humor us. I think Destiny's probably interested.
No, humorous. Yeah.
Like with my actual reasons.
Yeah.
I find progressivism in general to be appalling. I think it destroys people's lives. From transgenderism. I have two transgender cousins. One lived with me for the last couple months. I've seen it absolutely ruin everything about her life. I've seen the way that I go to inner city of Chicago every single year, and I see the way that the politics there have hollowed out particularly the black communities there. And I just don't have the stomach for that in a federal government.
Okay, here, wait, so I'm curious. Wait, if let's say that for the next election, okay, let's say that there were two futures and you could choose. And one is the country becomes a bit more progressive. And in the other, it is Trump suspends the Constitution for 2 weeks to do stuff in government. Which one of those futures do you think is better for America?
I think, for me, it's not a question of better. It's a question of likelihood.
Well, sure, but I'm asking, let's say that if you knew those two futures were going to happen, right? One is the country becomes more progressive, and then the other is Trump suspends the Constitution for 2 weeks to do whatever and then brings it back. Which one of those things do you think is better for America's future?
I mean, if you frame it super narrowly, of course it's going to becomes more progressive.
Is worse?
Right. No, is better. Yeah. Right? That's the way it was framed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't think it's likely that Trump would do something like suspend the Constitution. You don't think that's likely, even though he says he wants to.
I don't think it's likely, and I also don't think that if he tried that it would be... I don't think the federal agencies have the stomach or the courts would allow that to happen. I think that's pretty unlikely.
Does it
And to be
bother you? Wait,
clear-
I just want to ask a question. I want to ask a personal question, okay? Because I hear this a lot, okay? You guys, when you talk about Trump being a fascist authoritarian dictator, you never actually say Trump's not that. You guys just say that the government wouldn't allow him to do it. Is that you like implicitly admitting that if Trump could do it, he would, he wants to, but he just wouldn't be able to get away with it? Does that not bother you?
I think it's pretty hard to tell what Trump wants, to be honest.
Well, do you acknowledge that he tweeted that he would suspend the Constitution to look for voter fraud?
No, I actually didn't. I didn't know that he tweeted that.
On
You didn't know
Truth
he
Social,
he tweeted to terminate
So
the contract.
I mean, like I have like a job and like a life and stuff. I do my best to stay up to date, but
That's understandable, but this is one of the problems, and one of the reasons why I think that I like reaching out to people who think differently is it should matter to your vote that Donald Trump said he was going to terminate the Constitution, or that's what he would support. That's horrible.
yeah. I
Isn't
mean,
that worse than saying something like, "Hey, I believe that we should be respectful of people who are transgender," which is worse.
it's not respectful. Like the thing that I mean, particularly, I do think it is a actual major issue that we are contemplating speech laws like it within the workplace and government agencies.
wait. What
About-
speech? Wait, what speech
What
laws?
speech laws?
Well, say like misgendering people would be considered hateful speech that you could be like written up on.
Wait. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Written up on is not a law. This would be a policy at a workplace. And things like sexual discrimination and stuff are already illegal, right? Or no, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, illegal. They're against the law. You can't do
under
it.
Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, you are not allowed, for example, to have a pattern of sex-based discrimination against the female employee. And we know from a case called Bostock, this is an opinion written by Neil Gorsuch, that discrimination on the basis of sex includes people who are gay, for example. And so we already have certain rules for employers in interstate commerce who are not allowed to discriminate on the basis of sex. A, do you agree with those rules? Should it be legal to fire someone because they're a woman?
There's a very different distinction between a perceived identity and something that's real. Like in which case I actually disagree. And even when that decision, I actually remember when that decision came out, I actually disagreed with Neil Gorsuch's such as like reasoning there. I don't
Should
think
you
that
be able
those
to fire
are the
someone
same.
because they're a woman, just because they're a woman, not tied to any kind of specific job function.
Yes, of course.
You should be able to fire someone on the basis
No,
of their sex.
no. Sorry, no. You should not be able to do that. Sorry,
What
I
about
misunderstood.
if they're gay or lesbian?
No, of
Because
course
they're
not.
gay. Okay, so then why are you so worried about free speech as relates people who are being who are transgender in the workplace, but you're not worried about free speech as relates there are a lot of slurs for gay people, there are a lot of discrimination that could occur with gay people.
Like obviously, like if I went around the workplace saying like, "Hey, you're," shoot, I'm trying to. I don't know what the rules are on what I can and can't say.
You're fine. Just no racial slurs or I guess
Don't say
whatever
slurs.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I was about to say a slur. So for a trans person, so it like
Why? Don't you love your cousin that's trans? Why would you want to say a slur?
No, he's saying like, for instance, if you go around the workplace calling somebody a tranny, I think is what he was going to say. Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
my bad.
correct. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Like if I were to go and do that, that's clearly harassment. The problem is if like say we took like he or she, and you knowingly like if you know that person identifies as something else, the problem is that you act like for the person that uses he or she, and they actually mean like biological, that's the way that they are using their language, right? They've actually not said something factually incorrect, and it may not have even been malicious.
Wait, no, wait. Hold on. This is a myth, rumor, meme. This will never, ever happen. I don't know if you watch a lot of Jordan Peterson. What?
It happened to me. So
No, it has not happened to you. Hold on. The idea that you accidentally used the wrong pronouns for somebody and now you get fired and you've got a huge lawsuit against you, that is not what these laws are supposed to protect.
that's not disciplinary action.
Okay, but was it because you just accidentally fucked up and misgendered somebody, or was it because you intentionally did it over and over and over again as a means to harass somebody and you did it intentionally?
No, I would. Well, first of all, even if I did, I'm not entirely sure that because I'm using my language and I'm using it in the way that I've always used it.
What if you used the N word against black people and you said, well, that's accurate because that's what I believe black people to be?
I don't think that that's the same thing.
Should you be fired for using a word that you think is accurate?
Or even I can give you, where are you from? Do you say? Can you say which state?
North Dakota.
What do you say?
North Dakota.
Fuck. Okay. I worked in Iowa. Okay. One of the ladies that worked at the casino had a lot of problems because she came from, I think, Louisiana. She used honey a lot. She would say it to every customer she spoke to, and some customers really didn't like it, and they got really ass pain when she did it, especially if they're having a disagreement. But she'd say, "It's okay, honey, I got you, sweetie, I'll do it." She would just speak like that, and she got in a lot of trouble for that because it kept coming up over and over and over again. Is that okay, or would it be bad to get somebody in trouble for something they're used to normally saying?
Well, quite honestly, I don't know why someone would be particularly offended by honey. So I would tend towards like.
Well, hold on. People can get offended by it because, especially if you're not from the South, it can come across as incredibly condescending, right?
Or gendered.
Yeah, maybe I'm just like a up north bumpkin that like doesn't understand that like. That
Would you get upset if somebody
called
called you white trash? Would that upset you?
In general, that would offend people. I would think.
Because
I don't think it would offend me, but I'm,
And if someone said, "Well, it's true, he is white trash," that wouldn't be a good defense, right?
Well, I think white trash exists, so it's a little.
Okay, so if someone called you white trash, and let's assume for the sake of hypothetical that you are white trash, and he was like, "But wait, hang on a second, he is white trash. How am I getting in trouble for calling him what he is?" Wouldn't you be like, "That's not the point"?
I think that many people would probably respond that way. I'm probably not a good example as to how I would respond. I just probably wouldn't respond that way.
It sounds like the workplace has a lot of reasons for termination and for disciplinary action, some of which we would say are impermissible for things that are based on kind of intrinsic characteristics. Now, you might say that transgenderism isn't real. I think that's a semantical thing that you guys play about what's real, what's not real with respect to the term gender, and you guys have a big problem with the divide between gender and sex. But there are a lot of regulations in the workplace that could absolutely, quote unquote, infringe on speech to some extent. But we accept them in all different manner of business relationships, and we allow for things like no discrimination laws, or you're not allowed to. You would think that, right? Shouldn't hotels be allowed to discriminate and say black people aren't allowed to these hotels? But no, we have public accommodation laws that are as old as time, or not as old as time, but they're somewhat old, and they have been approved by the Supreme Court. So why should we take your invitation to be so scared that the First Amendment is going away just because we have some basic public accommodation laws?
I think that transgenderism in particular is uniquely incoherent and incorrect in a way that all of those other examples wouldn't apply.
Do you think that
So race is real?
what do you think is like the chances of this becoming like a centerfold of the Democratic platform if Kamala Harris were to win?
I mean, I have no doubt that it would become centerfold is a little bit, I think, misleading in this conversation, because the problem is when you have the federal government, really any sort of policy that they back behind is a major deal, especially when it's starting to be enforced federally. If, say, like North Dakota decided to vote laws, I'd be way more understanding of that, because like we are a community and we make decisions together in our own like local areas. But when the federal government gets involved with any particular issue,
including race, including firing someone because they don't like being called the N-word. You don't like the federal government get involved there, right?
Or I mean,
I think-
Why don't you let him bite this bullet, Steven? Come on.
This is a
we
little
don't
bit
have to worry
of
about the
a
race stuff.
strong
Let's
one.
focus on the trans stuff. Like, forget the race stuff. Like, on the trans stuff, what happened in 4 years under Biden? What did Biden do for trans people that was like so scary for you? This is a guy that was incredibly effective in office, had huge relationships with the Senate, passed a ton of massive legislation, was considered an effective leader in terms of like getting stuff done, whether you liked him or not. What did Biden do that was so scary about trans people? What happened to the 4 years under Biden?
I guess I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, and by the way, I think you shouldn't support having it be allowed to fire someone because they're trans. Do you support that? that you should be able to fire someone just because they're trans?
That's not what I said.
I'm asking you.
I don't know. No, of course not.
Okay, so then what would be wrong with a law that protects against anti-trans discrimination if you think that they shouldn't be fired just because they're trans?
I don't think it's discrimination.
Well, you just said you shouldn't be able to, whatever you want to call it. Say you don't call it discrimination. You don't think you want to be fired on the basis of their trans identity, and so why wouldn't you be okay with some policy that protects that identity from being a basis for termination?
The problem is that it is self-enforced and like when
And that's just private association, and that's just First Amendment just as much as your ability to hate them is just as First Amendment as people privately associate and make
what
decisions.
on earth? Why are you even talking to me this way, dude?
Talking what way?
You're talking about how I hate these people.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not discriminate, right? You don't want to say you discriminate against them, and you don't want to say you hate them. How should I term how you approach trans people in a negative way?
I don't think it's.
What terms should I use? It sounds like you're getting triggered by my terminology.
Because I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't know what word to describe your disposition towards trans people. How would you describe it?
I think they're incorrect. And
Okay, then if you think that they shouldn't be fired because they're incorrect about their own identity, then why would you be against any kind of legislation that would protect against the kind of termination basis that you say you disagree with?
because I would have to define my own conscience in the way that I'm using my own words. And it's not like I can use a different word for pronouns. Like there isn't a substitute. I mean, we could use
They?
she or her or they or.
Yeah, I like Z. I like Zer. What's wrong with those?
No, hold on. We don't have the weird meta pronouns or whatever. We can
This
just
is
call
getting-
people. Hold on. Hold on. At the workplace, people introduce themselves. You generally have a set of pronouns you use for people, or you can just say they, them. Why does this matter that much? It's not like you gender or sex check anybody anyway. You just usually call people whatever pronouns they present as. I don't understand how this could ever come up as being a huge deal.
Can I ask you guys a question? Is that
Yes.
all right in this space? Do you think that when our federal government's position is people who are biologically male are actually female? That is the position. Is it? Or am I wrong about this?
That's not. We're way past that even mattering. That's not the subject matter right now, right? The subject matter has to do with if you should be allowed to discriminate against somebody based on you perceiving them as being transgender or not, and then using different pronouns in the workplace. I don't know if the government can have an official scientific position or whatever.
Specifically, to bring it back to our topic, because I realize I am getting derailed because I do get derailed. To bring it back, that threat, right? The threat of
Thank you. Yeah,
trans protections for trans people in the workplace, that the threat of that regulation is way more than the threat of Donald Trump and subverting the Constitution, which I don't even even now as we're talking, it seems like you're struggling to have okay, maybe that's a little bit, okay, I won't be passive aggressive. It seems like this isn't as big of a deal as protecting the Constitution.
Sorry, I'm just collecting my thoughts. You give me a quick moment.
And I see someone, Unirock TV. I saw you putting 1000s every time. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Every time Matthias Ellers was talking. So if you have a thought on what we've been talking about, please.
Not the one.
Yeah, props to you, buddy, Matthias. Keep it up, bro. Yes, transgender is not real. You don't need to reinforce their delusion. We need to go back to making it what it was, which was a mental health disorder, and helping them the right way.
Okay, wait. I can respect that. Okay, I'm an employer. I personally think, and I believe I'm on much stronger ground to say that being religious is a delusion. Should I be allowed to fire people if they're Christian?
Christianity is not a delusion, just like being Islam.
In whose
Islam
opinion?
is not a delusion.
In whose opinion?
Sorry?
In whose opinion? You literally are schizophrenic. You close your
It's
eyes
a
and you
fact.
pray and you think somebody's speaking to you. And I think those people are crazy.
Destiny. Oh, buddy. Do you have a God, Destiny?
No. Do you understand the problem that you've stumbled into, right?
I don't have a problem. You do, actually.
No.
It's hilarious.
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying
you're
that
hilarious.
the point that I'm trying to illustrate is it's probably not okay that I fire somebody for being religious, even if I think they're delusional for being religious, much the same way
I
that
didn't say fire somebody for being transgender when they come to work if they're doing their job and not trying to challenge someone on calling them their birth gender, there's no issue.
So would you have a
See?
problem with regulation protecting or against discrimination on the basis of trans identity?
Yes.
You would have a problem with it. Why? You just said that you shouldn't be fired because you're trans.
No, I said that. So
Should
if
you be
the trans
fired because you're
person-
trans? Yes or no? Should you be fired because you're trans? Yes or no?
No, not because
Okay.
you're trans. Though,
Okay.
if coming to work, if I'm a Christian, right, and I go to work and I start, let's say every time someone comes up to talk to me, I force them to end the conversation with Jesus as king, right? Just like a transgender person, if I'm engaging with them and they want me to, I'm talking to them and all of a sudden I call them a him because they are, but they're standing there in a wig pretending to be a woman. I'm not going to call them a her, and they're going to stop the conversation and expect me to change that. That's not discrimination for me to call them a him. See? So if they fired me for the Jesus is King thing, bringing it into the workplace, distracting with it, I don't think that's an issue, just as I don't think it's an issue to fire the transgender for constantly crying about being misgendered. See what I'm saying? If you're doing your job, you shouldn't be fired.
Let's say that I'm working at a place and let's say that there's no trans anything. Let's say I just like to be referred to as my name. And I'm like, just refer, if you're going to talk to me, use my name. Should I be fired for that? Or is there a grounds to fire me for that? If I want people to just refer to me as my name?
Well, look, I wouldn't have an issue personally.
Wait, no, I don't care. Don't care. Wait, I don't care. That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying,
Yeah, I know you
could
don't
you
care.
fire?
I know you don't care.
Could you fire somebody? Well, what you're doing is like a weasel way. Whenever you say, well, personally, I'm asking you like as a matter of a rule, right?
That's not a weasel way.
It is a
See, that's
weasel
the
way.
problem. You guys don't talk to people in any kind of respectful way. That's the major issue.
I
That's
talk
why
to plenty
I'm
of people.
laughing
You're
at
not
you while you talk.
You're not being respectful. I'm asking you.
How am I not being respectful?
Because I'm asking you a question about a rule, and you're giving me a
No,
personal
I just
opinion
said
about a
that
thing.
you shouldn't fire somebody for wanting you to use your name every time I engage with you. No, you shouldn't be fired for that.
Okay, so then for
but-
the trans thing, let's say that all of them just
Yeah.
said that, could you just use they, them, or just refer to me as my name instead of using pronouns? Let's just say it was just that from now on. Would that be okay then in your eyes?
Okay, so if a man is pretending to be a woman and they said, look, instead of misgendering me, use they, them, no, I would say no to that.
What
I
if
don't
they
know
just
if they
said,
should.
what if they just said, just refer to me by my name?
I would, and again, you're going to call me a weasel, but I'm being honest with you. I would not have an issue with that myself because that's not a delusion. That's not a lie. See, Christians tell the truth. So telling the truth to this person, interacting with them in a truthful way by their birth pronoun, as you call it, it's not, that's the thing. You just said something about gender I'd like to address if you have time. You said that we have a problem as conservatives with gender being, do you remember how you phrased it?
No, Pisco said it, not me, because that's a whole trans
Yeah,
argument. that I
Pesco,
don't-
yeah, I was
don't wanna
talking
get
to him.
into,
I
yeah.
apologize.
How I phrased what? Sorry, the
The gender. You said something about how Christians have an, or I'm sorry, conservatives have an issue when it comes to gender as a language, or
Yeah,
engendering
oh,
somebody
yeah.
as a language.
Yeah,
part of
because I think if we interrogate this, what's going to happen is you're going to say that it's a delusion, but I'm going to say that when people use the term, the gender, they're describing a set of traits associated with a particular sex, a set of social traits. And if that's what they mean by the term female, or if that's what they mean by the term gender, how is that a delusion if it is what in fact what they are? I'm sure you've seen these arguments before. It can't be the first time. In order to prove that someone's under a delusion, you have to prove that they're wrong. And if they're using a term, and by the term they mean something like the set of traits associated with a particular sex, then how can they be under a delusion if they do in fact have those traits?
Okay, I'm trying to follow you.
Yes. So what
Wait,
do you mean?
well-
What do you mean by
No, go
gender?
ahead, please.
What is gender in your mind?
Okay, thank you.
Wait,
Gendering
do we want to go?
somebody-
Do we want to go down a whole?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Yeah.
No,
This,
yeah.
I really think you should, as an opinion from me. You don't have to. It's your show.
If you want,
I think it would make a good point.
If you want, you can come back at the end and we can run through
Yeah,
the transcript
yeah.
right
Okay,
now.
okay,
But
that's
can I,
cool,
can I
that's
just?
cool. Thank you.
I just want to run down a couple of things. I'm just curious, real quick. Do you think that
Sure.
dinosaurs exist?
Do they exist as in
Like,
their bones?
were dinosaurs
and-
ever real on the planet?
Yes. Yeah. No, I follow science. I believe what we can scientifically prove, and I believe the Bible is 100% God's word. Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that? Do you believe that FEMA was made available to the states insofar as much as Biden could have made it available, or do you think that FEMA's been up to no good.
FEMA?
Yes.
You mean the federal emergency for the hurricanes?
Yeah.
The only issue I had, and this is because I didn't have a lot of time to look at it, so you can cut me off whenever it doesn't help your show, but was something about they needed like an ability to reach the people, but FEMA wasn't allowing that. Now, I didn't have time to fact check that myself, so I wouldn't want to give an opinion. I would go with whatever we could prove. I don't go down rabbit holes. I actually am 8 years on YouTube debunking conspiracy theories. So.
Okay. Do you remember the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio? Do you think that
actually it affected me very much? Yes, I do remember. I live near there.
Okay. Do you think that the burning? Do you think that the burning off of those chemicals was intentional to poison the surrounding communities?
I don't believe that. No. Was it burned off though because of how do you say it? Like them being inept, realizing that it would harm surrounding communities? I don't know, but I'll be straight with you. My entire family, and I mean everyone I know, got sick when that happened. I mean, like very sick, and it was gross. It was bad, but and then that was just because we're really close to there. But yeah, I don't think that they may have. I think they may have burnt it, thinking that it wouldn't do what it did. Sure, I mean, I can't attest to their motivation.
Okay. Do you think that do you think that the COVID vaccines? Do you think that they were like maliciously created to poison people or whatever?
I do not think they were maliciously created. I think it was due to ineptitude from science, and this is an extremely generalized. I'm trying to do it as quick as I can in respect to other people talking and all that stuff. But I do think that people believing that they are inheriting what only God should inherit, be able to do, is in playing with these forces of illnesses in the way they did. I think that it was catastrophic. Do I think they meant that? No, they probably were trying to do the opposite. But that, and again, I think the ineptitude was at a level of, how you say, when somebody does something so stupid that they end up going to prison for it, you know what I'm saying? I think it was at that level. I can't.
Reckless.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So does Trump bear responsibility for that because he had the warp speed initiative?
Because he had what?
The warp speed initiative. Trump.
Oh, you'd have to explain the warp speed thing. I never.
Trump. I assume you're going to vote for Trump. Is that right?
Well, you guys might be surprised by what I'm going to say because I'm an Iraq veteran, 100% disabled. Spend all my time administering to people, going to funerals and all that stuff, and doing things to support my country. But I don't believe that my vote matters. I don't believe that any vote matters. And it's a complex thing that I don't want to dump on you. But if you want to talk to me about it sometime, you can hit me up. But no, I'm not going to vote.
You're not going to vote because you don't think it matters because we don't live in a democracy?
I think it's an illusion. Yeah, I think that it's all for show. Actually, that's just my opinion. Probably a dumb opinion, but I actually, as I've gotten older, believe it more and more. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. If there's some time at the end, maybe we can talk about the gender delusion
You're
thing.
welcome.
No problem.
Hit me up anytime. Have a good one. Thank you.
Sounds good. Let's try to keep it focused more on the issues. I'm sorry. I know I said that we weren't going to derail. I can't resist it. And thank you, especially DGG chat, for keeping me honest, and Destiny actually for keeping us honest. Let's try to focus on these corruption stories, these censorship stories, these justice stories. So yeah, we have Christian Manley in the chat, a Marine Corps veteran, imperfect man of God, wrapped up in the January 6th fiasco. So Christian Manley, I guess my first question, then you can say whatever you'd like. Were you ever in the Capitol on January 6th?
Hey, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. I was not inside the Capitol, but I was on the steps, kind of wreaking havoc a little bit.
Did you assault any police officers?
Yeah, I did personally. I sprayed some bear mace and through a pole, and I'll probably be the only J6er to admit that I did things wrong.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? Okay.
Okay. Unirock, let him finish. Christian.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, that wasn't us that said that, just so you know. So you can finish what you were saying, and then you can respond more broadly.
Yeah, that's fine. So basically where I stand on my own personal actions was they were unbecoming of who I wish to be. But do I regret being there and standing up for what I believe in? Absolutely not. And also, there were 4 protesters that were killed that day by police action. Granted, we weren't exactly behaving on our side either. So, I think there was just a bunch of wrong on both sides.
Okay, that's great. I am interested in your overall take on these issues of corruption, and I have so much incentive right now, and I'm holding back to ask you more questions because I think your perspective would be a uniquely interesting one. I'm gonna let Destiny, if there's a particular way you want to take it, go ahead.
Do you believe in the outcome of the 2020 election?
I believe there were questionable things that happened, but at this point, I'm kind of like with JD Vance, where he just wants to focus on the future, whether it was fraudulent or not, whatever. I just simply don't care anymore. I just want to focus on bettering myself and spiritual growth and growing closer to God. And, I spent 3 years in prison, for getting wrapped up in politics and caring too much about all this bullshit. So I really try to focus on myself these days.
What do you think of all the weird election things that happened? What do you think is what was in your mind, the biggest, craziest, weirdest thing, the most sus thing?
Well, I do remember seeing all the videos about, the weird stuff going on in the balloting areas, people filling out ballots and pulling out suitcases and stuff. I don't know how true all of this is. I haven't done my own research, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. What if I could, let's say theoretically, and I couldn't do this, but let's say theoretically, if we were to have a conversation and I could prove to you, okay, that those videos that came from the State Farm Arena, that the ballot boxes that you saw pulled out from underneath those tables were put there 20 minutes earlier, were officially certified, were on video the entire time, but that Giuliani's legal team, and then by extension Trump's legal team, they intentionally lied to you about that to make you feel like there was something weird going on about that, and that the Georgia COO, Gabriel Sterling, literally debunked that video 4 hours after it was posted, but people still to this day believe that something bad happened there. Would it, if you were to be made aware of, or if you were convinced that Donald Trump intentionally misled you on that, would it significantly change your opinion about corruption or fraud or any of that?
Well, yeah, I believe truth wherever I see it. If you were to show me absolute, irrefutable proof of that, then yeah, of course I would believe it. I'm going to look at the sky, and if it's blue, I'm going to call it blue, kind of thing.
Well, we have the entire tape of that event. We can see the 2 election workers by name of, now I'm not remembering their names.
Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman.
Yes. Well done, Stephen. Yeah. We can see them put the ballots underneath the table. We can see all of this occurring in real time, and we can compare it to the video that Giuliani's cronies and himself shared with public officials in hearings and elsewhere and on tweets and social media. And we can see that they cut out the relevant portions where you can see the complete the chain of custody of where these ballots came from and what they were doing.
Is there a way, real quick, is there a way for me to can I type a thing in the space? Is that possible or no?
I don't think so. I think you just reply to it's not a wonderful platform, to be honest with you. But yeah, you could post it on your Twitter and we could link it, but that's pretty much it. I don't think you can actually share. But anyway, this is just to say this particular claim, the one that you cited, and it makes me feel kind of bad, and I don't want to speak down to you, Christian, because I think that's not helpful. But you said yourself you didn't do much research in these areas. You relied on people to have done the research for you. You relied on commentators, like we all do. To some extent, our news is filtered through other parties, third parties, and it was enough for you to do things that you regret. Doesn't that make you angry? If we can show you that these were manipulated, these clips, they don't show what they purported to show. In essence, you're obviously responsible for your own actions, but they're the proximate cause for why you felt the way you did and what got you in the state of mind to do the things that you regret.
Yeah, it absolutely does make me angry, and I spent a lot of time in a jail cell thinking about it, and I spend a lot of time in this halfway house thinking about it. I have been able to, through years of meditation, look back on my actions and the things I was being told. I watched a lot of InfoWars, a lot of Alex Jones. There was a lot of just war, and a lot of, talking up, oh, the Civil War, get there and storm, whatever. There was just a lot of bullshit. And our reaction to what we perceived as a fraudulent election was incorrect in totality. And these days, I just simply don't know what to believe anymore because it's all so confusing.
It feels like the big criminals, the big masterminds of this whole thing. And I encourage you, if you ever have time, if you want to kill, a few hours to read the Jack Smith motion that was filed last week. It might have been last week, where it goes through the narrative. The big criminals in this whole situation that were planning for this the whole time haven't seen punishment for it. The real criminals, the ones who intentionally spread lies that they made fun of behind your backs, lies that they said were ridiculous, like Star Trek behind your backs. They nonetheless hawked to you guys, and you're the ones who held the bag. You're obviously responsible for your own actions, and I think that you're aware of that. But to me, it's crazy that we have a bunch of people, thousands actually. I think the number of indictments is over 1,000 in this one incident, who are seeing serious time, having their lives ruined in many cases for things they did. But those who promoted it at the top, the top of this conspiracy, who literally lied to the American people and to their supporters, they're not going to face justice if Donald Trump wins. And if that's the case, I hope you're not voting for these same people.
Well, I cannot vote because of my felony. I would have to wait until probation. And I've actually never voted. I never really got involved in politics until about 30 days before the incident. And it was enough to get me all revved up and ready to roll, And I'm not by any means saying that there was not weird stuff that could be perceived as fraudulent going on at the time, like all the COVID crap, the mail-in voting, a lot of the voter suppression for improvement, like the censorship on Twitter and that sort of thing. So I'm not saying that, there was just nothing crazy going on at the time that could be perceived as voter fraud or voter suppression. But I am saying that our reaction was unbecoming. And I think a lot of J6ers are feeling that way these days after years of reflection.
Can I give an opinion, or would that be inappropriate right now?
Wait. You can give an opinion, but first I just want to say one quick thing on the State Farm thing.
Please.
I want to ask a question and then give a thing real quick. You said in 30 days you were able to get wound up enough that you wanted to go and participate in the demonstrations that happened on J6. What were a few of the things that got you to that point where you were like, this is crazy, like I have to do something?
Well, first of all, the entire COVID thing, because I was a federal contractor at the time and I did a lot of cross-country travel, and I saw a lot of the, I guess you call them Karens that, like for example, you go to Walmart and you have Walmart employees trying to tell you what to do, wear your mask and walk this way and do that. And I've never been one that likes being told what to do. So that initially got me really angry, kind of the authoritarian reaction to COVID. And then from there, I started watching a lot of InfoWars, a lot of Alex Jones, and a lot of really, really radical right-wing stuff. And I thought, it was the end of the world. Something had to happen. We had to do something. And obviously, it wasn't the end of the world. The sky didn't fall. And now, I have a felony, and I can only have certain jobs. I lost my job. I was making $100,000 a year. So I've had to really reevaluate what I believe in.
Okay, and then. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. And then the second thing, just if you have time, maybe it would take you a total of 10 minutes. Underneath I made a tweet said, fighting with any maggers that want to join in. I replied to my tweet with, if you want to take a look, I swear it'll take less than 10 minutes. Okay. I know exactly which State Farm videos that you're talking about. All right. That first link that I link is I think her name is Jackie Deason or Jackie Dean or Deason, I think Deacon. She's the one that did the presentation that you probably saw in OAN videos showing how the mysterious ballots were pulled from under the table that showed up. The first video that I linked is timestamped when she's going through that. If you watch that video, listen to her presenting that to the state legislature. She tells them to skip ahead 20, 30, 40 minutes. Like she'll tell them to skip ahead. And in those 20, 30, 40 minutes, the ballot boxes were, because they thought they were going home, they just packaged the ballots, they put them in the boxes, and they slid them under the tables. Everybody knew where they came from, including Giuliani's team who was presenting it. The next video that I link is it's a 5-minute video of Gabriel Sterling, who's the chief operating officer of the legislature, of the governor's office, I think, in Georgia. He explains this is what happened, what I just said. And then if you don't believe me or him, if you click underneath, I've linked all 4 videos for Vimeo. You can scroll through these Vimeo videos. They're all the security footage from the State Farm Arena. Just go to 1 hour and 2 minutes, and you can watch in all 4 of these videos. The ballots are put in the boxes. They'd already been counted and certified, and they were just put under tables. That's where all of that came from.
Okay, so you're saying that was like a very propaganda from the right wing to try to make them believe that Trump had lost the election due to illegal.
Yes. It was explicitly a lie from the very beginning. No part of them actually believed that it happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Unirock, do you agree with that characterization that we just agreed to?
Well, what I was trying to say is an opinion.
Is that a yes or no?
No. I don't. Well, I don't agree with what you're saying, but it's not because of. Look, if I was to look at what Destiny has put together, of course, I'm going to agree with you on the State Farm ballot boxes. I do think, though, and I hold this personal opinion, like a lot of people do, that the lies and the censorship was one of the main causes of the unfair censorship. There shouldn't be censorship in politics one way or the other, so that when they lie, it can be debunked. That's why I put so much faith in being a debunker over the years. It should be the ultimate.
Why wouldn't you agree with the characterization of what we were talking about as being a bad faith propaganda?
Oh no, I just said if Destiny's videos show that the ballot box thing is a lie from that side, then yeah, they should go to jail, in my opinion, for lying that way and manipulating video. I think that people that do that are affecting elections. That's one of my main opinions. Like someone that puts out a fake video that sways votes and gets them to go do what Christian did, they should have a punishment to the same effect as Christian because, they knowingly and willingly did that.
They did that, and also
no. I mean the people that put out the video that Destiny's talking about.
The people that put that video out. To be clear, that's Donald Trump, and then the people working for him, all under his direction.
Well, I mean, if you can prove that, then yeah, I agree. Trump should be charged for things like that, not what they've been trying to get him.
Well, that's part of what he's charged for in Georgia, where the RICO case is, and in the Jack Smith case. Yeah,
that video is wrapped up in that.
He's not being charged for lying because lying is protected under the First Amendment. I don't know why you're now not pro First Amendment.
No, I'm pro First Amendment, but I'm not First Amendment. The First Amendment doesn't give you the right to yell, of course, in a theater, fire. And it doesn't give me the right to go out and lie to people about our country so that they'll make a vote that lets communists into our...
Hang on. When it's part of a conspiracy, the reason why it's part of the indictment, as Stephen said, is because it's evidence of his intent. Well, we can show him spreading claims he knows to be false after he's been told they're false and after he acknowledges they're false. That's one of the areas, the Georgia
Gotcha.
vote. So, but he's not being criminally charged for saying the lies. He's being charged for the underlying conspiracy. The lies.
Yeah. Okay. No. And see, I agree with you. If I studied this more, I would have, said it that way in the beginning.
Yeah, but
Trump can say, I can say it, and I shouldn't go to jail. But if I say it with an intent to affect people, I should.
Stephen's characterization, I don't even think is widely disputed. I don't even think that Trump people would dispute it. I mean, no one.
Well, hold on, wait. I'm sorry, just to be a little stronger on that. They don't dispute it. Giuliani admitted that he lied. He said he had a First Amendment right to lie, and then he lost that defamation case for $148 million. Sidney Powell also said that she lied. She paid restitution to the state of Georgia. So they do say this. Everybody involved.
Yeah, and they should do that on both sides. They should hold people accountable on both sides.
There's absolutely nothing even remotely close to this on the left.
Well, that's a different conversation, I guess.
Sure. Can you give me your strongest example of what would be similar to a candidate running for office who had a legal team fabricate a video claiming that 18,000 ballots were counted 3 times, and that ballots were pulled in under anything. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but anything comparable to that coming from a presidential candidate or at least a lawmaker in Congress on the left.
Okay. Wait. So Do I have an example of someone on the left lying to that degree?
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah, or close to that degree. Like a
well,
lawmaker
see,
or
that's
yeah.
that would be a characteristic of belief, because I do believe that, because I don't believe that people like for foreign entities should be able to pay and affect opinions of senators and politicians. And I think that should be handled with very strict.
Eric Adams is
treasonous-
being charged. Eric Adams is being charged for his alleged bribery with Turkish people. Democratic senator, he's incumbent Democratic mayor, Eric Adams. Incumbent Democratic senator, well, he's gone now.
Yeah, and wait. So what's the example? What's the example of a person left lying like that?
When you have I wouldn't have a direct one that comes to mind right now. I'd have to look, but when you have a big lie being told, like Trump or Kamala running for president and not being honest about their intent. And I feel that Kamala is, and this is not a meme, I mean this, a communist. I feel that
wait, no, hold on. Okay, so I know I said it didn't have to be the exact thing, but like it's got to be in the not like lying about your intention as a politician. That's way different. I'm saying presenting a case to the public that is just factually and is factually correct.
And yeah, that's the same thing. Kamala not telling us the truth in order to get voted in, just so when she gets voted in, she can do a bunch of things the opposite of what she rallied for. Yeah, I think that's I think that's an equal lie.
Didn't people say that Obama was going to bring by communism in 8 years, or that Biden was going to do communism in 4 years?
They've definitely done their job and made their way. Yeah, if you go back to the 50s and the way that our great grandfathers looked at the country, and the way they looked at communism, and then you look at it now, it's literally infesting our country. The mindset of communism, of not working to get what you deserve.
Can you give me a single example of a Democratic lawmaker or president or whatever who says or exhibits some type of communist idea or ideology?
The ideology of equality of outcome as opposed to the opposite. I mean, that would be the base.
First of all, I don't know, what does that have to do with communism? Or I'm sorry, hold on. Back up one more second. What do you think communism is?
Again, I think that if you argue communism to the base factor, it is equality of outcome versus earning what you deserve. Like at the base of all the arguments. Yes, communism is a form of government and blah, blah, blah. But that's not what the term has meant going back many years in the United States. The term has morphed into meaning the opposite of American values and what we fight for and stand for as a country and what our flag stands for. The opposite of that is communism.
Are you saying? Do you think that welfare is communism? Like how have the Democrats since Obama done communism?
Let me see. Welfare communism? I don't think that it's communism if it's in a controlled, very minimalistic way, like helping the
like in
people
the past 20
or
years. What do you think is the strongest example of the Democrats doing communism?
Doing communism,
like in the past 20 or 30 years, what's the strongest example of the Democrats like doing communism?
Just about everything they pushed for.
Just one thing. Give me the strongest thing. The one strongest thing.
Like you just said, trying to push welfare, pushing for abortion, like they do, pushing for
abortion is communism.
Welfare is communism.
It's definitely the opposite of what our country stands for. I do think welfare at a level like if you're helping somebody in an extreme situation, that's what we should do. That's what churches do. That's what we do at the VFW.
Yeah, sure. So hold on, not to sound like mean or whatever, but like you said you're on 100% disability. Aren't you having an equality of outcomes guaranteed for no reason?
I earned my disability.
How?
I think that because I was injured in combat.
So maybe you shouldn't have been, right? Like, what? Didn't Trump say he likes people that? Yeah, okay. Maybe Trump likes people that didn't get caught. Like, I don't understand why you think you'd be more entitled.
He never said that though. Where did Trump say? He said that. Do you believe Trump said that thing at the? Remember when the guy, the general or whatever, said that Trump talk
No, we're
bad
not
about
pivoting. I
veterans.
understand that that's disputed. We all saw on TV when Donald Trump said about McCain, "I like people who weren't captured."
Okay, but yeah, I mean, obviously he's joking. You can't see how that's a joke.
Why would I say that's obviously a joke?
I like people who aren't captured in the tone of voice and
He said McCain's not a war hero. He was a war hero because he got caught.
But
I
if
like
he
people
said that,
who
he's
weren't
wrong,
caught.
and I vehemently disagree with it.
Well, but you don't care that
if he
much.
was
It's not going to
making a
influence
joke
your
about
vote
him
at all,
getting
right?
caught, it's distasteful.
Well, he's not voting, Stephen. He's not voting.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm not voting. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I would vote if you guys could convince me to vote. I would vote, and I would vote for Kamala if you could convince me to. And I'm not lying to you.
How do we convince your vote? How do we do that?
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, the
What would it
first
take?
thing is you would have to be able to convince me that Biden's policies, not the imaginary policies that we always hear people say that made him a great president. You know, when he's looked back upon, maybe he will look like a good president for doing 2 or 3 things. But
Hold on, I'm so sorry. Just real quick. Imaginary policies are what people refer to when they say Donald Trump did things. Trump had
True.
Stop.
No,
Hold on.
true.
Stop. Wait. Let me finish. Biden passed tons of huge legislative bills and accomplishments. The CHIPS Act, the Inflation
Look
Reduction
what it's
Act.
done to the country, though.
Yeah. What do you mean? We're outperforming the rest of the G7 and the entire OECD in inflation
I mean,
and
Justin,
worker
hear me.
productivity. And what do you?
I don't hate you. I don't hate anybody. Hear me, bro. Because seriously, the best thing I could say to you right now is to get you to understand the difference in viewpoint. I am here every day with the poor and the needy and the sick. That's what my entire life is devoted to. We are dying here, okay? It's the truth. The country is completely different than it was when Trump was in office.
Well, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Wait. What were you not disabled? What do you mean? What changed? What was different?
No, I'm talking about like us as a people.
Well, there were no
I'm not
poor
talking about me
people
specifically.
when Trump
I've
was
been disabled
president?
since 2007. Do what?
Were there no poor people when Trump was president?
No, there was, and food prices were much lower. Housing was extremely lower. Like if you looked at the prices to buy a house right now, it's insane. It's completely different than I've ever seen it. It's actually shocking to see the difference.
You know that we had like a whole housing crisis explosion, right?
Yeah, and I lived through the 2008 housing explosion. I actually lost a house then. And I've seen them before.
Wait,
but
you
this is
lost a
like,
house under that. The entire run up to that was under George Bush.
Yeah. I never liked Bush ever. I hated him, and I had to salute the man and serve him, and I hated him.
Okay, and then if you're worried about inflation, I mean the fact that, well, never mind, because you're not voting for Trump.
we have to convince him. We have to convince him of the good policies of Joe Biden, right? So that's what you're saying?
No, I think that would be a good starter if I'm being just honest, having an honest discussion with you,
let's
and
go
then
one by one
also
real
the
quick.
Kamala.
Yeah.
I'd like to know why Kamala is good at any of the things that and
hang
is
on.
good for the country.
You set a standard just then. You're like, you need to show me the actual policies as opposed to the fake policies of Joe Biden, right?
No, and I might have misspoke, but what I mean by that is when I say fake policy, what I'm trying to say, and that's why I said people say that about Trump too. A fake policy to me is a policy that won't affect the poor people in the country and the ones that are struggling to get by.
Okay, let's go one by one. So
Okay.
let's discuss some of the policies. So number one, the Infrastructure Act that was passed, one of the biggest, I think the biggest public investment into infrastructure that is going to disproportionately help people who are commuting, traveling, people who use the actual roads, internet, that kind of thing. So that's going to massively benefit and give economic boons to the average worker and the average consumer in the United States. You must agree with that, right?
I mean, I haven't looked at it, but I'll agree with you because I don't think you'd lie to me about that. I'm just going to have when was that voted in, or when did that start?
That's in 2021. That was one of Joe Biden's first legislative goals. It was passed with bipartisan votes in the Senate and the House. Donald Trump promised to do an infrastructure week. Joe Biden delivered. So that's a policy you would agree with. And I think one that we're going to see massive returns on that in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, so it's about a 5 to 10 year thing. Okay.
Well, it's going to take time. We've already seen.
I know. No. I'm not putting it down by saying that. I do understand that. I think some bills would probably take longer than that to really do anything.
One of the ways it's going to help the disabled is it's going to improve facilities and disability access to.
I know
areas.
I'm disabled, but I don't like being disabled. Actually, I wish I wasn't. So I'm more worried about the poor than the disabled. I mean, I am worried about them, but I can say that I think that both sides have tried to take care of the disabled, from my experience, at least with my friends and family. The ones that are legitimately disabled, I think both sides have done a good job, but
So let's talk about some poverty measures. One of the biggest costs to
please.
American consumers is healthcare expenditures. That's consistently one of the biggest concerns. And Joe Biden, along with Kamala Harris, has capped the price of insulin at $35. At $35.
I think that's a great point to make. Thank you. So what
it does feel a little
do?
communistic, right? It's a price control.
No,
So I'll
and
just
I'm
note,
with you there, buddy. But that's where I was going to go.
Do you like
kind
communism
of.
when it's capping the price of insulin?
You know what I'm
apparently?
saying. You know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be silly to a degree, but not. I'm being serious and silly. So when they cap insulin, how does it make how do you cap insulin without it being paid for by the taxpayer, which would, in my very limited mind, I think would increase inflation and the issue? Or is that a bad statement to make? And please correct me. I want you to.
I think
it's correct
real
to say
quick.
that-
I think, can't we say that it's okay for like upper middle class or wealthier taxpayers to pay more in taxes? Wouldn't that be okay?
Yes, and if that's the true reason for it, then I would agree with my Democrat brother there. But
Wait, so then
my
when
worry
the
is that
Republicans are
when-
the ones that are trying to just cut taxes, especially from the
I know.
wealthy. And
I
then
get
when,
that,
yeah.
and the sick thing is, I agree with it. Maybe I shouldn't, but I agree with it, and the reason is because I found that, let's say that they didn't cap insulin so that it didn't make the country. Let's say they get rid of all those programs right now. I think that it should be upon us as a community to go out, and which we do, and help people get their insulin so that inflation can go down in the end. If you get my drift, like, hey, let's not raise the taxes and spend this government money. Instead, let's spend our own money and use our own resources.
When
Get
you
this
say
stuff figured
community,
out.
though, not every community has the money for that.
That's true. So it does. Yeah, you're right there. You got me there.
Are you on Medicaid or Medicare?
No, I'm a veteran. Everything's handled by the VA with me. Yeah.
Got it. So that is a government funded or government managed.
I know, and I hate being disabled. I do, and I wish I wasn't. I fought it, and you don't have to believe me, but I fought against being disabled, and I had to go through a lot just to get my mind into a place where I didn't feel guilty for being disabled. But
Well, hold on. Let me just say also that earlier, okay, when I attacked you over the disability thing, it had to do with the claims of communism. But I think we can agree that if you served for this country, the only way that this country can maintain everything that it does and have a fully volunteered military is if people like you are willing to sign up, knowing that if you get injured in the line of duty while protecting
I agree
interests,
with you.
yeah, you're absolutely entitled to those disability payments. Yeah, okay. There's no shame in that whatsoever. If I imply that earlier, I didn't mean to. I just don't like.
Oh no, and I
it.
respect
Yeah,
you for
okay.
saying that. I never hear you say things like that. I always see these clips that other people play of you, so it's good to hear you say something like that because I do agree.
I think the thing that is the hardest for me to understand is when I see Donald Trump or the Republicans say that they support the troops or they support soldiers or they support expanding whatever benefits, right? They don't do the things like price capping insulin. Instead, they give massive tax breaks to people like me. They don't expand things like the VA. They don't seem to help it, right? I believe that. Are you familiar with like the PACT Act?
Yes, actually, I'm very familiar with it. I won't go into detail. I'm extremely familiar with the PACT Act. Yes.
Sure. Back in March, the Biden administration expanded benefits because of earlier than they were even on
I know
track
they
to.
did.
Yeah, Donald Trump didn't do that.
Absolutely. Well, and to be fair, though, Trump did do things that did help veterans from a disability standpoint. He did. Both sides did. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I think both sides are like equal there. But if I'm just trying to get up here and get you, if you want to understand the other side, which one that I've experienced face to face every day, they really don't trust Kamala, and it's one of those kind of commie things. If you could understand why I'm using the word commie there, you know what I mean?
No, I don't understand. If I'm being honest with you,
okay.
and we'll give you the last word on this. I'm not understanding because
Yeah, let me
every
jump
program-
down and let someone smarter talk. Thanks for hearing me. Have a good one, y'all.
Well, listen, I appreciate you joining, and I think your perspective as well as Christian, and we'll hear more from Christian as well. I want to get to a certain person in a second, but
Go ahead, please.
We do appreciate you commenting, but it sounds like your
thanks
problem
for
with
hearing me.
communism, like you're citing some of the programs that people cite as the most communistic or the most socialistic, like
Yeah,
government-run
I know.
healthcare, and
And that's why I want you to understand what I'm trying to say. Maybe let me follow you, and I'll send you like a little
Yeah.
email thing and try to get you to
I'll follow you
understand
back.
what I'm trying to say.
Also,
Thank
hold on.
you,
And
Rock.
also, hold on. I want to say this one also thing because, okay, it's so important. Okay. You said that you work with poor people, you work with other veterans and stuff, right?
Yes,
Okay.
every day.
I make a ton of money doing online stuff, okay?
Yeah,
Because I'm
I
an
know.
American citizen, all right? I make an ungodly amount of money. The only reason why I can do that, the only reason why I'm able to exist in a country that is part of the world hegemony, okay, that controls our hegemony, that controls so much like trade, has the ability to be proliferative in terms of culture and internet and everything else all across the world. The only reason I can do that is because of people, say, like you, who serve in the military. That's not an exaggeration, right? So the idea,
I agree.
so the idea that the government would come in and say, like, hey, Stephen Bonnell, who makes all this money, listen, you're going to pay a bit more in taxes because the people that actually serve as the backbone to allowing the United States to function as it does make 1/50th of the amount that you do. I should have absolutely no problem with that. So when people like Trump or whatever want to come and say like, oh, no, you should keep your money, keep your taxes, keep all this or whatever. Well, as opposed to what? Like, does an extra $50,000, $100,000 change my life at all? No. But I'm sure you know people where an extra $2,000 would have a dramatic impact on like a yearly existence. So I don't think that type of redistribution has
truthfully, yeah.
anything to do with communism, right? I think it's okay.
No.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Again, the communism, of course, is the people out there. All of them say that word. It might be a meme, and I think they do understand it to a degree, and they understand it's a bit of a slang that encapsulates their entire way of thinking. But it's very honest to say it that way. But let me
I
let
don't
other
know that it
people
is.
talk.
I think that Kamala is proposing things that you probably would agree with, which is more
I probably
caps
would.
on certain drugs, and those are the things that people call communistic, like price controls.
Yeah, I don't
caps.
like capping the
But
drugs,
you're
but I'd
in
love
favor of it
for you
insulin.
I'd love for you to convince me. So
Okay.
I'm going to go look at your stuff and hit
Okay.
me up if you ever want to talk. Okay,
Don't look at
I
the
want
last
to give the
tweets 'cause
floor to others.
I've been pretty unhinged in my last tweet, so don't look at my Twitter. It's not representative of my opinions.
Hey, it won't affect me, dude. I
Okay.
love that kind of thing. You're
All
good.
right, okay,
You're good.
okay.
All right.
Let's
Hey,
go to
really quick.
Go for
I
it.
wanted to say something. Yeah.
Oh, this is Brian Thanos?
I could say-
Brian Thanos,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm Brian. I think I could say a few things that might resonate with Unirock. I'm a two-time Trump voter who's going to be voting for Harris, so I think I probably have a lot of things in common with Unirock. Like the way I would describe myself, and just in terms of like my general politics. I'm not woke. I'm like strongly against like leftist woke ideology. During COVID, like I strongly opposed the lockdowns, the mandates, the censorship, etc. I agree with a lot of those things that Unirock said. So like the question might be, okay, like why would I vote for Harris if that's what I think, and I can tell you exactly why. So I'd say over the last like year and a half, Trump has like transformed into like a carnival salesman. We have Trump Bibles, we have Trump NFTs, and the worst one is Trump crypto. And this is something that doesn't really get covered enough. And it's one of the reasons that I could not support him in this election. I don't know why it's hardly covered at all. But this is one of the most devious scams I've ever seen in my life. This is one of the most devious scams I've ever seen in my life, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because it's one thing if Trump is going to try to seek revenge on Democrats, but this crypto scam is specifically aimed at his most loyal and loving supporters. It is designed to literally take money from them and to make Trump rich. And to me, that is just so cynical that it goes beyond anything that I would be able to support. And then to kind of speak to Unirock's point about
Wait, can I just say
communism-
one quick thing on the back of that?
Yeah.
If even if you don't believe me, you can literally go to the website for Trump's trading cards, okay? And you can scroll down and you can read the fine print, okay? Those things that Donald Trump is selling, he's not selling those things to fund his campaign. These are just things that he's selling to personally enrich himself, okay? On collecttrumpcards.com, it literally says, the website offerings are not affiliated with any cryptocurrency offering or with World Liberty Financial, are not political, and have nothing to do with any political campaign. So all of the stuff that Trump is selling, none of these things are even for the election campaign. It's just for Trump's own wallet. And that's true of all of these little side projects he's doing. Just for anybody that doesn't believe, just go to the websites and read the fine print, okay? Yeah.
So one thing I want to add to that, Destiny, it's like some of these things, obviously, they're very, very cheesy, like the Trump shoes, the Trump Bibles, NFTs, etc. But for me, I can kind of stomach those because it's at least the buyer knows what they're getting, right? I'm buying a Trump Bible, I get a Trump Bible, whatever. the Trump crypto is particularly cynical because people are investing with the expectation of making money, and it's the most obvious rug pull I've ever seen. I've been involved in crypto for about a decade now, so it's something that I know in quite a bit of detail. And one aspect of this Trump crypto coin is Trump and his crew are retaining 70% of all the coins. So they have by far huge majority control. So I mean, this could easily be rug pulled, and that's my biggest objection, because I think it's extremely cynical. Talking about Kamala and her policies, one thing that I think is going to surprise a lot of people is I think Kamala is going to govern much more moderately than a lot of people think. And the reason being, because I know a lot of people on the right are very skeptical of Kamala. They don't believe her because they say, okay, look, she was weak on the border for the last 3.5 years, and now she's running border ads saying that she's going to lock down the border. It seems insincere, and I just don't believe she's going to do it. I'll tell you why I think that is not the case. I'll tell you why I think that she will follow through, and she will actually have a pretty moderate governance, because she's going to want to win re-election. And moderate governance, she is incentivized to govern moderately, because that is going to be the key to her, winning re-election in 2028. So I mean, Trump is not tethered down by any sort of re-election aspiration. So he can govern as wacky as he wants. But
Brian Thanos, real quick, who's better on corruption? And then we want to get a disagreeer on here, because I think you're going to find some agreement with Destiny on this. But so we'll go to Tony after this. But who's better specifically on corruption, the Justice Department, weaponization, that kind of thing?
I would say this. I think it was a mistake, at least for the Justice Department, to. I think some of these charges were, I think they, some of the stuff where they had, what was the one where there was like a misdemeanor that was then, changed to a felony.
That's the New York. That's the New York one, and it's completely based and justified. But go ahead.
My opinion on that is, I wish that that these prosecutions did not occur, because if they did not, I don't even think Trump would have been the nominee. I mean, it really had the counter effect to what many people would have thought. I think that Trump wouldn't have even won the Republican nomination.
Okay, that's cool, but who would be better in terms of corruption and justice as the president? I'm not asking for your chronology of all these investigations and how it affected things. I'm asking you who would be better.
I think that, like I said, I just to be clear, I'm not like some big, huge Kamala fan, but I think she would be slightly more ethical. I do think she'd be more ethical than Donald Trump.
I'll take it, but I think I would replace slightly with 1,000,000,000% better and more ethical than Donald Trump. But let's go to someone who might disagree. We have Tony Walker. Tony Walker in the chat. Give us your thoughts, Tony Walker, and let's try to tailor it, if possible, to justice, corruption issues, censorship issues, that kind of thing. Do you have any thoughts on what we've been talking about? And if you could please just tailor it to those issues.
I did want to come up and talk about the how you frame the treatment of our military personnel.
Sure, go ahead.
I think it's pretty gross to try to make that like a bipartisan thing. Our military is an unbiased entity. And also, there have been various tax or budget cuts and postponements and lack of availability for benefits in the VA since the Biden administration has taken office. Things that the Trump administration had been trying to reverse and prevent and expand. Trump even expanded on some of Obama's old policies as far as veterans are concerned. I just wanted to say it was pretty gross how you frame that.
Wait, real quick. What's the thing that the Biden administration delayed or messed up that the Trump administration was trying to do?
Well, the Biden administration doesn't even honor the Roe PACT Act, which expands coverage for veterans that have experienced toxic exposures. Since there's a large, I know that since there's been a large influx of claims and whatnot. That the wait times have been longer than usual, and that extends throughout.
Do you remember what Destiny asked you just now?
Yeah, he asked for an example.
He asked for you for what Joe Biden was messing up of Trump's policy that you had alluded to.
Oh, that of Trump's policies.
Yeah.
Well, because it sounded like you said something about like he did something bad for veterans that Trump was trying to do.
No, I didn't say he messed up any Trump's policies. I said that Trump expanded some of Obama's policies, and that there have just been long wait times ever since the Biden administration.
For the PACT Act, do you acknowledge that that act was introduced by a Democrat in Congress?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Do you acknowledge that it was passed by the Democrats in 2022, right, under Biden, right?
Do you acknowledge that the VA Emissions Act was passed by the Trump administration?
I'm not asking you that.
I'm
asking you. You made it sound like Biden was
than specific things.
That's great, but you made it sound like Biden was failing the PACT Act, and it almost sounded like you were
VA
playing
Emissions Act.
Yes.
What's it called?
Also, the Prevent Act.
Just as a quick fact check, $6.8 billion have been dispersed in the 2 years that the PACT Act has been into effect. The VA has delivered more than $6.8 billion.
I'm not saying it's not effective. I'm just saying.
No, you said that Biden was stalling on it.
Yeah, there have been longer wait times.
Wait, no. You didn't say they're longer. You said Biden was stalling on it.
No. I'm saying no. I didn't say that. I said that he is stalling the. I don't even think I said that he stalled anything. I'm saying that the wait times have been extended, and that the periods that they've had to wait to receive benefits have been much longer than that of the Trump administration.
Okay, so then to re-ask my question then, so has the Biden admin done anything bad when it comes to veterans? I guess it was worse than under the Trump administration?
All I was saying was that I didn't like how it was framed that in a bipartisan fashion when the claim times and effectiveness of these claims have been in a lesser manner.
Yeah, you said you didn't like it, but then you did it immediately after by saying that Biden had done worse things. And it sounds like you just made that up. So it sounds like you literally came in and did exactly what you said you didn't want people to do, which was to politicize the VA.
You're accusing us of politicizing the
VA stuff. You said that it was gross that people did that. And then you came in and you said it's gross when people do that. Biden was actually worse than Trump. So I asked you how Biden was worse than Trump, and now you have absolutely no answer. So it sounds like you literally just did what you came in to chastise us for doing.
No, I was just providing actual anecdotes and things that happened in society, such as the extensive periods to receive benefits. I don't even think you provided an anecdote for why you were politicizing.
That's not an anecdote. You pointed to wait times. I assume that there's a statistic there as opposed to an anecdote. Is that fair? What anecdote did you provide?
The PACT Act, the failure to honor his own act that he introduced.
Well, but he didn't. How did he fail to honor it? If anything, they're implementing it ahead of schedule.
Wait times.
Wait, hold on. An extended wait time means that what? The system is bogged down, or they're trying to process applications, or how is that like an error or an issue, or like he did something bad or wrong there? I don't understand.
Because it affects the benefits for every veteran alike. When there's a longer wait time for one section of veterans, there's a long wait time for all veterans. That's the point.
So I've got sources which say that the Veterans Affairs Department under President Biden has not only the fastest rate of dispensation for benefits, but also in total. So this is a release from July 23rd this year. VA has now granted benefits to 1.1 million veterans and their survivors in fiscal year 2024, surpassing all-time record. And it says that the rate of the record is greater than at any other point in history as well.
Yeah. And the claims are also at an all-time high as well. So your statistic holds true in various fashions.
Wait, but isn't that's not a bad thing then, right? Like let's say that wait times have gotten a little bit longer because more people are qualifying.
I said I didn't. You guys aren't even relating to what I said. I said that the wait times are longer. That doesn't mean that they aren't happening at a higher rate. That just means that they're waiting a longer time to receive the benefits.
So do you think
I don't have an actual wait time. I don't even think they have those statistics of how long that they have to wait for this, and it's absolutely terrible. And maybe they should keep that kind of statistic.
So then do you think that veterans were better off after Biden and the PACT Act, or do you think they were worse off as a whole?
I think the PACT Act is a great piece of legislature. I am saying that it is terrible that you framed it in a bipartisan fashion when it takes longer to receive benefits under the Biden administration.
What's your citation for that it's longer to take benefits? I'm going to call you on that. How do you know that it's taking longer?
I could probably find some evidence of this. It's just.
Do you know like the kind of?
Well,
are you referencing a statistic?
I'm giving actual historical like anecdotes. These are people actually say this. I like like I don't have to.
People
look
can
it
say
up
a lot
when
of
I'm
things.
hearing
I
it
can
directly
say
from out of the horse's mouth.
I can say that that I'm 7 feet tall. I can say that
Right.
nothing
You're drawing a
exists.
hypothetical, but this isn't hypothetical. This is actual people's lives.
Yeah. So where are you getting it that wait times are longer now than they've ever been?
I could probably find an actual.
I'm just asking,
article
like,
on this.
what kind of data are you relying on? Are you relying on statistics, or are you relying on people talking?
Well, I mean, statistics aren't always true, so I'm not very reliant on statistics. I'm relying on what I hear from the people.
So you're not
right?
relying on statistics. You're relying on what you hear. Is that fair?
Do you want me to disseminate a lot of your statistics for you? Because I mean, there's a lot of statistics that are very wrong, and it's because you're part of the majority doesn't make you correct. I mean, I can find an anecdote for you. I'm sure.
Well, we're not interested.
If I were to
in
provide you stats which suggest that from like the VA saying that wait times are shorter, would you believe them?
Do you have something from the VA?
I'm asking you, if I were to be able to provide you, would you buy them? Would you accept data from the VA saying that wait times are shorter?
Well, it's not true. So
if I were to provide it to you,
if they put something
how do you
out
know
like
it's
that,
not true?
And it was provable and everything like that, and I actually ran a statistical analysis on it, and I proved that, someone else did, and they proved that to be true. Yes, I would believe it.
No, but it sounds like you're saying that you can't trust stats. Like,
and you run a
everything you're
statistical
saying
analysis
here-
on it, and it's proven to be false, then no, it's not true.
Wait,
Josiah,
hold on. Run a statistical analysis. What does that mean?
That means do all the values equal out to be true? Something
What?
like if 90% of a population votes for one person, then they can't have a landslide victory in the other way.
Wait.
That's a pretty
How would you
simple
run a statistical analysis on the VA saying wait times have decreased? Do they need to publish all of their what values?
They would have to publish the statistics.
Has this ever happened with anything the VA has ever done in the history of the entire existence of the VA? The answer is no. So how would you ever trust?
I'm going to look that up for you.
Okay. Well, it's no. There's not. I don't even know if they can legally do that. It's HIPAA, right? Are you going to announce how long patients waited for?
I don't know if they're. Yeah. Right. I think you're right there.
Okay. So, but it sounds like the issue we're running into is what did you say that Trump did for veterans that it was good? You said it was like
he did the Prevents Act and he did the VA Missions Act.
Okay, wait.
Prevents Act is
how do you know those
prevention.
things were good if you don't trust any stats or anything the VA says?
Well, I also think that the PACT Act was good. I just again, the framing of one being better than the other when one is taking longer times, these are just immediate things, right? It's a terrible framing.
Is Trump better for veterans?
Yes.
Why?
So you're saying that one.
Why is Trump better for veterans?
I guess okay. I see your point there, Pisco. But well,
so it sounds like you're doing exactly like what Destiny said. Wait,
and I don't want to frame it like this.
Well, no. Wait, I'm curious. Why do you think Trump is better for veterans? Why do you think that?
Well, for one, just personally, my personal beliefs here. I think he's better for veterans because I think he just has a stronger backbone than that of anyone in the Biden administration.
No. Hold on. I'm asking, what thing? Why is he better for veterans? What do you think he's done, or what's like?
I think he gives more extensive plans for veterans as well. I think that his policies reflect that.
Can you give one idea of a plan he has for veterans?
Well, no. I think his past ones have. Like the VA Missions Act was a pretty extensive plan.
The VA what? The VA Missions Act?
Yeah, missions like a church mission, like missions. Yeah, VA Missions Act, and then there was Prevents, which is it's an acronym. So I think both of those were not like super specific things that provided extensive care. And again, I think that the PACT Act is a fantastic piece of legislation. I think that those are essential things that are necessary in the VA. But I just think that the VA Missions Act and how extensive it is and how well it covers pretty much every aspect of it of what could happen throughout the tenure in the military. I think it's a really good piece of legislature, and I think the Prevents Act is a great secondary for preventing suicide and assisting with those types of things. I think that those are just much more extensive and relatable bills than just simply saying, and again, I think this is also essential, but I think that they are much more extensive than just saying, I want to help out burn pit victims. Again, not trying to lessen that, because I think that that is something that is very essential, but I just think that the former is much more extensive.
What do you have to say, or what do you think about the fact that if you look at the tweet I made about the State Farm video, fuck, I don't know where to post links. I'm just going to reply to this space with a link on Trump and the VA post. So this was a report from the President Trump's fiscal year 2019 budget impact on veterans. Just reading the highlines here, or the top lines, I guess. The president's budget does not provide adequate resources to maintain existing VA facilities. Or the president's budget blocks oversight and transparency by Congress and the independent inspector general. The president's budget limits veterans' access to important services. He plans to cut $30 billion from disability benefits. What do these things mean anything, or?
Yes, they are. Yes, they have meaning to them. I don't know how you'd like me to respond. Sorry. These are like proposed cuts. They always have every president or nominee or candidate has like these kinds of cuts that they deem necessary.
Wait, no. Hold on. The Republicans run on budget cuts. The largest line item for our discretionary spending is the military. So, I mean...
Yeah, well, don't forget that the Democrats also ran on these similar budget cuts.
No, they didn't.
That's kind of what they're running into.
No, they didn't.
These days.
No,
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't.
exactly that's the reason why they can't. That's why they can't pass anything for the military. That's the
But they
exact
did.
reason
You
they
literally
ran
said
the
you
budget
liked
cuts.
the PACT Act, and they passed the PACT Act. So you're just wrong on that. Kamala Harris casted the deciding vote on that.
Well,
So
yeah, but that's one piece of legislature.
legislation, yes, and they want to fund it.
Yeah, but Trump passed much more than one piece of legislature.
First of all, they're not even trying to fund this. In the recent budget agreement, just reading this from the veterans.senate.gov, and I posted this. In the recent budget agreement, Democrats fought for $4 billion to upgrade and enhance VA facilities over the next 2 years. Unfortunately, there are reports that the VA plans to spend only half of that on facilities and would divert the other $2 billion to pay for private health care. Where do you get this idea that the Democrats are like trying to lower the budget for VA stuff? Like, where is this idea even coming from?
I didn't even hear that. What's the statistic again?
The VA was going to spend half of the $4 billion that Democrats fought for in the budget. They were going to spend half of it to work on pre-existing facilities, and the other half would just go into private healthcare, basically, for veterans.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the plan. That doesn't really explain like the extensiveness of everything. I'm trying to find some real statistics on this.
Does it? Wait, are you military?
No.
Or okay. Do you have military family, or is there? I'm just curious why you're in the.
I have military family.
Does it bother you on like a personal level that Donald Trump was a draft dodger, and that Biden had like a child that served in the military, and that Donald Trump made fun of like people that got captured in the military? That Donald Trump made fun of a Gold Star family? Like, do these things bother you at all?
Do they bother me? Yes and no, but I mean, I have things that bother me in all sorts of in both administrations.
I'm not asking you, I'm just saying in
like
regards specifically to the military. That like it seems like if you want the military person, right?
Well,
Biden literally had a son that served in the military. Donald Trump is a draft dodger. Biden, I think Biden, it's almost cringy.
So is Tim. Well, not necessarily the
Don't
draft.
care. That's a different word.
And then also.
Well, wait. Hold on. Wait. Tim Walz, draft dodger? Didn't he serve in the military for like 24 years?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not even remotely close. I don't know why you would compare that. Okay, and then Donald Trump literally draft dodged. Joe Biden had a son that served in the military. Donald Trump made fun of a Gold Star family.
What draft did Donald Trump dodge?
Vietnam
War.
I think either that or World War II.
Did he just leave the military or something? Is that like a fact?
He said he had flat feet or bone spurs. Oh yeah.
So the fact is that he left through the VA.
What?
He had bone spurs. He left through the VA. That's how the VA works.
That's how the VA works?
Yeah, that's where you get your benefits from. Like when you have a disability, you have to go through the VA.
No, he's not paid out on disability. He dodged a draft by saying that he had bone spurs, so that he wasn't drafted.
That's not a fact. He didn't dodge the draft because he didn't drop the draft for having bone spurs. If it was a draft and he has bone spurs, he's still gonna get drafted.
He got a medical deferment because he had bone spurs.
It's a matter of public record, bro. I don't
Yeah.
know why you're here if you don't know that.
Why am I here if I know that he had bone spurs?
If
but
you're
that's not
here
why
talking about
draft.
how crazy it is that we're politicizing the military and you don't have any
you're giving misquotes. You're giving misquotes and not
What's the
necessary.
misquote?
Wait, what was the
facts in order
misquote?
to convey
What's the
some
misquote?
sort of a point?
Wait, what was the
What's the
misquote?
misquote?
You said that Trump used bone spurs to avoid the draft.
Yes,
You just said that.
Yes,
That's
he
not
did.
A fact.
I stand by it.
that is a fact. What do you mean?
That is not a fact. That's your opinion.
Wait, what part
No,
of that is an opinion?
You mean his discharge? His discharge is the reason why he didn't have to go into the draft. It's not why. It's not an avoidance. That's an actual.
Why are you acting like you know anything about this? You don't know anything about it. Why are you saying what the facts are?
Wait, also,
Because
why are you
you're
saying
giving-
he was discharged from the military?
I know-
What are you
I
talking
know-
about? He wasn't a part of the
I know how to
military. He
disseminate
never
fact from
served.
opinion. That's why I know how to disseminate fact from opinion.
Yeah, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually have to be enlisted to receive a discharge, right? He was never enlisted. He received a medical deferment for
Yes.
bone spurs.
Like 5 times.
So how? Okay, so you're saying he avoided the draft by using bone spurs, but he got a discharge for it.
No one said
Tony,
discharge. You
Tony,
made that up.
Oh my god.
Discharge and deferment
He just
both.
said discharge.
No,
Oh,
sweetheart,
discharge,
listen,
deferment. Got it, got it.
breathe. Discharge and deferment both start with the letter D, but they are different words.
Yeah, no one here
gotta
said.
make
No one here
It's
said.
not my fault. You guys don't know the difference between fact and opinion.
Wait, hold on. What part of if I say Donald Trump used a diagnosis of bone spurs to avoid being drafted in Vietnam, is that an
fact-
opinion or a fact?
The fact would be that he had a discharge deferment for bone spurs at the same time as the.
Why do you keep saying
draft.
discharge?
Is that the right? Am I using the right?
If you don't know, why the fuck are
Wait,
you like?
wait. Why are you saying discharge? No, he wasn't.
I'm trying to actually construct the fact for you.
Wait, no. I don't need help constructing the fact. I need you to understand the English language. You keep saying
clearly do, because
discharge.
you don't know the fact from opinion. You're giving your opinion and not the actual fact.
Didn't you just
Wait.
ask
What
us if you were
did
using
I
the right
just
word?
say? What part of that was an opinion? Donald Trump.
Because I'm quoting you. You said something about deferment of discharge. Or
No,
something like that.
Okay, he's trolling. All right.
You're trolling.
Maybe I got next.
All right. We
How
have
am I? Okay, it's not. Hey, you guys, whatever. Like
You're
what you
trolling.
guys
No one
do
said
is-
You're trolling.
discharge.
No
You
one
say
here said discharge.
You guys just said discharge like 4 times.
Yeah. Okay, Banham. Troll.
Okay,
Okay.
we're removing you. That was a good meme, though. It was a good meme.